Motherland, the state's anthem. Let us rise and quiet and stay.
That we are trying to start today. So today's event is not merely a formality by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is a democratic right, a solemn moment in which the people, not politicians alone, speak into the soul of our nation. It is an affirmation that in a democracy, every voice counts, just like every vote counts. So let us not forget that democracy is a work in progress. Some people say we already have an amended constitution. I would disagree that democracy is a work in progress. We must continue to tinker with it until we get it right, to the satisfaction of all. So for me, no constitution is eternal in its form, in its original form. Even the American Constitution had to be amended. And no democracy is perfect. Because even man himself is not perfect. But it is in our collective pursuit of perfection that more perfect union can bring about true beauty of democracy. That's where democracy lies. Therefore, the review of the Constitution is not a sign of weakness, but it is a sign of strength. It is not a complaint against the past, but it is rather a commitment to the future. We are meant not to abandon, but to realign, to adopt our national charter to the changing realities, to the dreams and demands of the good people of Nigeria, and particularly the demands of the times. May God bless the south-south part of Nigeria.
Well, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, today that we are assembled before our leaders and our people, on behalf of this committee, we would like to thank you for what you are doing, the leadership, and also to assure you that this zone, as well as the country, is counting on you. And we know that you will do your best and you will not let us down. And for me, we have not always agreed on everything, but you know, and I know, and we all know, that on matters that have to do with the interests of our people, we have always agreed, and we have always worked together. We did so on a lot of bills and motions. We did so particularly on the South-South Development Commission bill. And I want all of you to have a round of applause for the Senate President. The tax reform, of which, though I'm a ranking opposition senator, I was one of the most fierce supporters and promoters of those bills. Even though the President, you know, no one has said thank you, but we did what was right for the country. The South-South Development Commission bill, I tell you, probably, most likely wouldn't have seen the light of day, if not the fact that we have Akpabio as President of the Senate. And we thank Senator Akpabio, who sponsored the bill, and all of us who co-sponsored and spoke and fully supported. And that's a way of saying to all of you, our leaders and people of the South-South, that just like the verses of our national anthem, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood, this zone must stand together. We are of different political parties, as the Senate President has rightly said. But parties are like markets or marriage. As children, others are also living. But the interest of our people in the South-South remains one.
Just lost Park. All of
The Apollo people
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. As I speak to you, Chairman, sir, Eastern Obolo alone in this state has 10 oil blocks. 10 oil blocks. All the 76 wells that the Akpabio state government won from Cross River are all found on Obolo soil. As I speak to you, sir, the Obolo land has contributed immensely.
God, let me advise again. I think you have touched about the essence of your case for Obolo state creation. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you leave your other?
So let me conclude, sir.
Yes.
My prayers, therefore, is that the Senate should create Obolo state comprising of Oron, Okobo, Mbo, Udugo, Urofang, Oruko, Ipono, and Eastern Obolo from part of Akpabio state and Andon local government from Rivers State with its capital at Oron. Thank you very much. To speak further, sir,
Thank you very much.
I want to hand over the mic to His Highness, a traditional ruler representing the Oro Group, His Highness Chief Sir Sylvester Akaiso, to make a case for the law. Thank you.
Professor Daniel Aganabatirios, we are here representing the good people of the Oro ethnic nationality comprising people from Oro local government, Okobo local government, Mbo, Uduko, Rofang, Oruko local government areas, and the Obolo ethnic nationality comprising Ibono and Eastern Obolo in Akpabio states, and the Obolo people that form Andon local government area in Rivers State. We thank God for this occasion and this opportunity. We thank our President for giving this opportunity because it is his desire that development should be brought to every sector of this country. There are a lot of benefits that state creation will give. That is why we want to tap into that benefit. I had wished that the President would be here. When Akpabio State was created out of Cross River State, nobody believed that the uncommon transformation that is here can happen. When Bayelsa State was created out of River State, the only thing known about Bayelsa was Yenegua with one small tiny road that ran from the east to inside. When you go to Bayelsa State today, it is a mystery and a story. Go to Ebonyi State that was cut out from Enugu. Ebonyi State was a state where it is difficult to drive a car. Now Ebonyi State is like Lagos. Who says that state creation is not good? It is good. That is why we said, give us a state. So why do we need a state as Obolo people? We need a state because when the Southeastern State was created in 1967, all the 5 local government of Oron that I have named, Ibono, Eastern Obolo, and all of us in River State, we are together. We were straightened, we could reason, we could meet as brothers. But somehow, in 1976, when Cross River State was cut off from Southeastern states, the Andoni people were moved to River State. And we found ourselves in a place that we were lonely. Our brothers were on the other side. We found ourselves in states where We don't even know, we are not consulted in the governance of the state. Even though we know that we are a major bedrock at both ends to the state. So we need Obolo State so that we can be reunited. We can be reunited.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria says that a state would have a minimum of 3 times 10 federal constituencies and a maximum of 4 times 10. Akwa Ibom has only 26. It has not met the minimum 30. And we are urging that state constituencies be created strictly on the basis of the population. And if you follow the population, the local governments of Esienudum, Uyo, Ibiono, Eket, Orugonam, and Parenin have the requisite, population to have their state constituencies created. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all.
What concerns us and what I would like to point to you is that there are historical evolutionary trends to the creation of Obolo State. Obolo State creation was first attempted in 1936 as Obolo City Council. During that time, when the request for Obolo City Council was presented to our colonial masters, it was rejected because there was no contiguity between the Obolos that we're talking about. Between the Obolo of Ibno and Obolo of Eastern Obolo were 36 miles of Ibibio land, and between the Obolo of Eastern Obolo and Western Obolo were 35 miles of Ibibio land, and so it could not be created. Those factors remain the same yesterday, today, and they would not change, because we have substantive judgments to show that from the mouth of the Kwaibo River to Child's Point on the east is owned by Ibibio people. From the mouth of the Kwaibo River to Imo River is owned by the Ibibio people. The Obolo, as we speak, have no land in Akwa Ibom State. As much as we support the laudable creation of states for development and plausibly for what they want, we cannot allow a state to be created on our own soil. No. Obolo will be created on their own soil, not on our own soil. So the Ibibio people rejects in entirety any attempt, any form of creation of state, any identity of whatever sort, for whatever development, for whatever purposes, should be done on Obolo's soil and not on our own soil. It is on this basis that we reject in its entirety the creation of Obolo State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe strongly, like I said, that no constitution, no original constitution is perfect. Even man is not perfect. So we must continue to amend, we must continue to tinker until we can get a more perfect union, until we can get a much more workable constitution, which will be to the satisfaction of all Nigerians. It's not going to be easy, even in this amendment, to satisfy all and sundry. But it was a great experience for me to be here and to listen to the passionate pleas of the people. For instance, outside additional state creation, people are also talking about the injustices created by the way the local governments were crafted and were carved. There are some states, for instance, like Bayelsa, that have only 8 local government areas, and the landmass is over 11,000 square kilometers. So they believe they should have more local government, and I think that is not an unjust request. And of course, I also listened to the case of Akwa Ibom, where they said that there are some of their local governments that are too big. They mentioned the case of Mbarenin, the case of Esienudum, even my local government. And they mentioned also the case of, is it Orugonam or something, and others, and Uyo, and in Ibiono. And in reality, they are right. Those local governments are very, very large. And then, of course, if you look at even in terms of population, there is need to revisit that issue. And there is no way you can even create any local government today in Nigeria unless you amend the constitution, since the number of local governments are already enshrined in the 1999 constitution. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So this constitutional amendment for 2025 will try to address a lot of issues. And I believe strongly that when we go back at the national level, after the zonal levels, we'll be able to distill the issues and then do justice to all and sundry. So it's an eye-opener that Nigerians are prepared to come through dialogue, not monologue, to come through peace, not war, to come through collaboration and not conflict in order to ensure that we have a more perfect union. I'm very excited with what I've seen today.
Akpabio one step, one man. 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 Ibi song, yeah. Ibi song, yeah. Ibi song, yeah. Akpabio song, yeah. Akpabio song, yeah.
People today, from the mouth of the Akpabio River here to Imo River here, belongs to, in the down below judgment, belongs to the Ibibio people, specifically of Ete. Ikorabasi. So the entire coastline here belongs to Ibibio. It is Ibibio soil, Ibibio land. It can only be part of Ibibio state and not Obodo state.
No